All right. It's setting it up. Yep, here we are. Okay, with that, we are live now.
Excellent.
So we're going to give us a couple of minutes to get ourselves going. But yeah, we are now streaming live. I did it. Hooray. If you're out
good
there,
for you.
check in and say Shabbat Shalom from all of us.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
All right. I don't think we have anybody. Oh, we got a couple people who are here. All right. Clicking on this to make sure we can see you all. You can see us. There we go. All right. We are successfully on. Hello. We're going to give us a couple of minutes to get ourselves going. But yeah, we are now streaming live. I did it. Hooray. If you're out there, check in and say Shabbat Shalom from all of us. So what I want to see is if we are actually doubling. All right. I don't think we have anybody. Oh, we got a couple people who are here. All right. Clicking on this to make sure we can see you all. You can see us. There we go. All right. We are successfully on. Hello. We're going to give us a couple of minutes to get ourselves going. But yeah, we are now streaming. All right. Hello, everybody out there watching at JRC. Let us know if the sound is okay and you can hear us. We are live from Cantor Howard's home and from my home, and wishing you a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcoming all the folks that are here. Heidi Levin and Jerry and Julie Hurst, the Frolicstina Pels, Beth Lang, Shabbat Shalom to Diane Pezanovsky. Hi, Sandy Spatz. Abby Harris Ridker and Aviva Feldman, seeing all the folks who are here and who are on, and hopefully everyone has found us on the JRC page as we manage all of this technology. Technology is a little bit of our Mitzrayim here. So we've been thinking about how the narrowness is a challenge for us in being here and getting ready to gather. So we hope that your Pesach so far has been lively and joyful and wonderful, and as good as it can be. You know, this is one of those things that we are here in real time, which does not mean that we are here in perfect time. We are here in all the real ways. So we will start to bring Shabbat in together with Cantor Howard, and unfortunately Zoom does not allow for harmony, so we'll do our best and bring in Shabbat together. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So Cantor Howard will sing one more as we welcome folks in and we gather together as we are building our chavra and building our community together. So as we welcome everyone in all of your places, some of you are watching from your kitchen tables or your kitchen counters. Some of you are in your living rooms. Some of you are still in your pajamas. Some of you are not wearing pants, and that's okay. We are here doing as we can during this Zman Cherutenu, during this holiday of freedom and awareness and time that we have the privilege of this blessing. And so we bring in Shabbat together, and we imagine that we are accompanied by angels of peace that are coming to take us together, to grab us and wrap us, almost like wrapping in a talit, to wrap us together as one connected community all over the world. At this time, in our own time zones, we are gathering to welcome in Shabbat. All over the world, we are celebrating. We are connected in lots of different places and in lots of different ways. And so we sing Shalom Aleichem together to be able to welcome in Shabbat those angels of Shabbos, those angels of peace. If you have the JRC Kol HaNeshama Sidur, the one that looks like this, that says Shabbat v'Chagim on it, it's on pages 12 and 13 as we welcome in Kabbalat Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Rabbi Rami Shapiro writes, angels are another name for feelings. When we love and act with kindness, we create angels of love and kindness. When we act with hate and violence, we create angels of hatred and violence. It is our job to fill our world with angels of love, messengers of kindness that link people together as one family. There are lots of ways in which we are sharing kindness right now. There are lots of ways in which our kindnesses are gathered together. Sometimes that kindness means waving to neighbors from our front porch. Sometimes that kindness means going to the grocery store and making sure that you are not only 6 feet away, even wearing your mask and your gloves, but that you are saying thank you to all of the workers who are helping to sustain us. Those kindnesses also mean that we are aware in so many ways of the connections we can't see and the work that is invisible. Part of what Shabbat is about awareness of all of the ways that we connect with everything in nature, with singing a song, with singing together. And so we sing together the songs that come from our time of connections that are ancient. There are times that are more recent. One of those ancient connections, those ancient songs, comes from Song of Songs. And Song of Songs, which is one of the, if you tuned in yesterday, if you tuned in to hear Cantor Howard singing, we were able to share this ancient love poetry. Dodi li va'ani lo haro'eh bashoshanim. My beloved is mine, and I am my beloved's. I see you amongst the flowers. And so as we take walks outside and we see the first flowers of spring that are starting to flower and starting to bloom, those beautiful little purple things that are all over my new front lawn, all of the colors that are coming up. We say, I am my beloved's and my beloved is mine. This beloved community is ours, and we take care of it and we nurture it and we look for it as brilliantly and beautifully among the flowers. Page 19 in the seaboard.
דודי לי ואני לא הגורר בשושנים, דודי לי ואני לא הגורר בשושנים, מי זאת עולם מן המדבר, מי זאת עולם מכותרת מור, מור ולבונה, מור ולבונה, דודי לי ואני לא הגורר בשושנים, דודי לי ואני לא הגורר בשושנים, ליבתיני אחותי כלה, ליבתיני כלה, ליבתיני אחותי כלה, דודי לי ואני לא הגורר בשושנים, דודי לי ואני לא הגורר בשושנים, אורי צחפון ובואי תימן, אורי צחפון ובואי תימן, דודי לי ואני לא הגורר בשושנים, דודי לי ואני לא הגורר בשושנים.
We welcome in Shabbat with the words of the Psalms. One of the beautiful things about Psalms is that not only are the Psalms written to express beauty of nature and the world and love and all of these ideas that are bigger than we are, not only are they beautiful to read like poems, however, they are also written in the very sort of personal language. Psalms are a human being's way of calling out and singing out. They are the poems we read in lament. They are the poems and the songs that we sing when we are marking an occasion. They are the ways in which we are calling out as human beings. I need help, I need support, I need love. Look at this moment and celebrate it. One of the things that we say in Hallel, in the days that when we sing these verses of praise, is today is the day that was created. This day was created. It might have been a good day. It might have been a really terrible day. It might have been boring or overwhelming or isolating or fearful. But there are psalms and feelings and music and poetry and words for all of those. And so we sing together these words that we sing of Psalm 96, which is on page 25. We sing out and we fill the earth with song. So here we are. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, sing to the Redeemer a new song. Sing all the earth together.
שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בשירו מיום ליום ישועתו, שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בשירו מיום ליום ישועתו, בשירו מיום ליום ישועתו, שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש.
So we welcome everyone who has joined. We recognize we're having a little bit of connectivity slowness. So Cantor Howard, I think, is freezing in and out and is a little bit slow. So we'll do it the best we can. We are streaming from 2 different places, and the beauty of technology, which is allowing us to connect. And as I think several of you have said, we do the best we can, and it doesn't really matter. We can see each other's faces. We can connect with one another. Leah Goldberg in Yiddish wrote, Lamdeni Elohai, Barech v'hitpalel. Teach me, my God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my days be as the one before, lest routine set my ways. One of the things that I'm finding to be very challenging in this moment, particularly for those of us with kids on spring break right now, is that there isn't a significant way to mark time. It is almost as though we are living in a time before there were calendars, when we used to mark time by the setting of the sun in the sky and the liturgy and the music that we heard that was chanted in the same particular ways, depending on what day of the week or holiday it was. And so we use all of the different kinds of ways to mark time. For some of us right now, it's our morning walk. For some of us, it's looking at the videos that Rabbi David and Cantor Howard and I have been sharing with you all. For some of us, it is checking in on Zoom with family extended across the country or across the world. For some of you, it is saying, oh, wow, I've been on a screen for the last 3.5 hours. Where did the time go? Part of the marking of Shabbat and the marking of time is to be intentional, to say, I have to be at this place at this time. It is the piece that is lost on the generation that came after, say me, that it only knows on demand, right? You have to wait until something particular is happening to be able to see it. It's not just whenever you want to have it. And that's part of how we actually mark time and understand the rhythm and the flow of the week together. So this marking of time, marking of Shabbat, is a way of saying all of these nights have felt in many ways the same, although we have actually been asking why and how is this night different from all other nights. Perhaps the last 2 nights didn't feel quite the same as the ones that have come before. But many of us are in the chaos of not having the usual routines that we have. And so the challenge to all of us is to think about how we mark time, how we let time fill us with something that is nourishing and not pass us by and not drift away. Not float by and scroll by on the next screen, but rather is something we say, I am going to enjoy this moment. So here we are enjoying this moment as we welcome in Shabbat. The ancient rabbis who created Kabbalat Shabbat, who created this idea of Shabbos and welcoming in Shabbat with these poems and these songs, were the mystics. They lived in the town of Tzfat in northern Israel. They were the ones who believed very much in the mysticism and in the supernatural spirituality of the divine. And so it was about coming in and saying, I am going out into the fields to literally watch the sun go down so I can welcome in Shabbat like I would a friend. Lecha Dodi, come my beloved, just as we sang Dodi li va'ani lo. My beloved is mine and I am my beloved's. I am part of this beloved community and this beloved community is part of me. And saying when we welcome in Shabbat, we are welcoming in an extra layer of connection, an extra layer of belovedness. It's not a layer right now that we can touch, but hopefully it's a layer that we can feel, that we are connected with one another wherever we are, however we've come to it. Maybe we're just tuning in to hear a snippet and a little moment of saying, Lecha Dodi, come beloveds, let us greet Shabbat. Let us welcome Shabbat into us, into the end of this week, into this special Shabbat Chol HaMoed Pesach, this special holiday week that we are celebrating differently than all other years before. And so Lecha Dodi begins on page 41 and says, come beloveds. I say to all of you, come in, Let us greet Shabbat together.
Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat, lekabela. Shamor v'zachor, b'dibur echad, hishmianu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, l'shem u'lit'eret v'litila. Lecha dodi likat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha dodi likat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Likrat Shabbat לכו ומלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת מקבלה. מקדש מלך עם מלוכה, ומציא מתוך ההפכה. רב לשבת בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה. מתנהגים מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי. אריית בן ישי בית הלחמי, כובע אל נפשי גאלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה. Now to 147, where we greet the Kala. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה. תוך אמוניה סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה.
So as we bring in Shabbat with gratitude, with thanks, with awareness of all of the things that we can say thank you for. There is much to be afraid of right now. There is much that is hard. There is much that is unknown. but there is also so many things that we can be aware of, that we can appreciate in our world. So I invite you, if you're on the chat function of our Facebook live stream, to type into the comments something for which you are grateful this week. It could be something small, it could be something large. There are so many ways in which we are discovering as a people, as a community, in this moment of pandemic, the capacities we actually have. One of the things, I ran into a friend who was walking this afternoon, and she shared that her partner is working for Connections for the Homeless, and that right now there are 130 homeless people in Evanston who are currently living at the Hilton Hotel. They are in the they are safe, and they have access to clean bathrooms and showers and beds to sleep in that normally would be housing insecure, wouldn't have a place to be. The fact that we have the capacity for all of us to take care of one another that we are discovering. And that sometimes out of a moment of fear and a moment of going without, we actually discover all of the capacity that we have had all along. We've always been able to connect with one another using this technology, but how many of us would have thought to have Passover Seders around the world together? We've always been able to connect, but how we've not been able to do services on Facebook Live, and here we are, within moments, we've been able to make it happen. There are so many ways that folks can receive and give one another blessings out of a place of challenge into a place of possibility. Min hametzar, from the place of narrowness. Anani v'merchav, and I was responded to. You answered me out of a place of expansiveness and possibility. Charles Reznikoff wrote the following poem as you are writing your comments and your gratitudes that are coming and flowing through our chat box today. Out of the strong comes sweetness. Out of the strong, sweetness. Out of the dead body of Lion of Judah, the prophecies and psalms. Out of the slaves in Egypt, out of the wandering tribesmen of the deserts and the peasants of Palestine, out of the slaves of Babylon and Rome, out of the ghettos of Spain and Portugal, Germany and Poland, the Torah and its prophecies, the Talmud and its sacred studies, the hymns and songs and poems of the Jews, and out of the Jewish dead of Belgium and Holland and Romania and Hungary and Bulgaria and France and Italy and Yugoslavia, of Lithuania and Latvia, of Russia and Ukraine, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Poland, and Germany, out of the many more that have been killed in genocides, the many more we have lost to AIDS, the many more we have lost in this moment to the coronavirus. Out of the greatly wronged comes a people teaching and doing justice. Out of the plundered, a generous people. Out of the wounded, a people of physicians. Out of those who met only with hate, a people of love, a compassionate people. I am so grateful and thankful for the compassion that flows from JRC, has flowed toward me, and I know toward Cantor Howard and to Rabbi David, and to one another for stepping in, to helping, to being together in this moment. We sing on page 49, the Psalm for Shabbat, Tov lahodot, it is good to give thanks.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך באמונתך בלילות להגיד בבוקר חסדך באמונתך בלילות טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון טוב להודות בלילות, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We bless this gathering of coming together. As we bless the source of life, we say, as we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our vision clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. The blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare, which sounds just like JRC right about now. And so we continue with Ahavat Olam, with reminding ourselves that we are loved, even if we may be alone, seeing so many pictures of celebrating Seder, of celebrating this holiday with folks with a Seder table set for one, with a laptop or a tablet, ready to Zoom with someone else, ready to be connected, but physically sitting without one another. And so in honor of connection, in honor of this name, we remember that we are one community, Gam Yachad. We are one congregation, even though we are spread out and we can be connected. Ahavat Olam, with a great love, we are loved.
And we'll start actually 3 lines down in the Hebrew. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu. On them we meditate by day and night. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla. ואהבתך לא תסור ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Amen.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לנבאים. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
When we sing the words of the Shema, Adonai Echad, about unity and about oneness, we are one community, even though for many of us, we are in fact alone. Right now, we are going on I think it's the third week, I can't even remember because I've lost track of the days, of sheltering in place, of making sure that we are staying safe. But it means for many of us that we are alone. And I want to share this beautiful poem written by Rabbi Aaron Weininger. Rabbi Weininger is a rabbi in the Twin Cities. He's a conservative rabbi who was actually the first openly gay rabbinical student admitted to JTS once they had passed their policy in 2007 to admit openly gay students. And he writes the following: "Tonight will be the first time I will be alone for Seder, but I will not be lonely. Alone tonight. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For ancestors who left Egypt will be with me. I feel their tears reach my eyes, even as my hands can't do so freely. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For family by birth and by choice will be with me. I yearn for the connection, the commotion of Seder's past while using Zoom technology of now. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For teens managing life in the closet will still be with me. I believe in their power to live fully into who they are meant to be. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For partners in abusive relationships will be with me. I realize that staying home for them is painful, even as it gives others safety. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For kids and their exhausted adults will be with me. I imagine question upon question born out of beautiful curiosity. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For workers facing job instability will be with me. I realize these uncertain times create a deep anxiety. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For those who have no home in which to stay will be with me. I know my words are inadequate unless my action matches to change reality. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For healthcare providers and chaplains will be with me. I pray for well-being, peace, and care to envelop them regularly. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For friends with illness of body and soul will be with me. I see their struggles for hope to bud, yearning for spring to revive each and every tree. When I stay home tonight, I will be alone, but not lonely. For I am with them and they are with me. I feel and yearn and realize and believe and imagine and recognize and know and pray and see. Hope will fill my table. May it give each of us a sense of being free." Our song, our Crossing the Sea song, Micha Mocha, the tune that we often use on Passover is the tune of Adir Hu. It's one of the songs that many of us may have heard from Ashkenazi tradition around the Seder table, an alphabetical acrostic telling the beauty and magnificence of the divine. But it is really a way of counting our blessings. And so we count the moment of crossing the sea, remembering going across and going out in a night of terror, in a place of hope, of going into the unknown, but at least going into the unknown by our own choice and by our own feet. Page 91, we sing together. Cantor Howard leads us. Page 79, sorry. In Micha Mocha, our song of crossing.
נאמר כי ודעת אדוני את יעקב וגאל לו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני קהל ישראל.
Amen. We pray for all of the ways to be protected. We pray for the kind of protection that comes from face masks and gloves, the kinds of protection that comes from washing our hands over and over and over again. How many of us around our Seder table did that abbreviated, that amended order, that amended Seder that has orchatz, which is the hand washing after every piece. Wash and wash and wash your hands as a way to keep ourselves safe. It is a way for us to do everything physical that we can in order to protect ourselves. It is staying inside and keeping distance so that we don't spread that which is dangerous. And so we pray that what we do physically is enough, and knowing that none of us are completely safe, which is also scary. Mordechai Kaplan wrote, "Enable us, God, to behold meaning in the chaos of life about us and purpose in the chaos of life within us. Deliver us from the sense of futility in our strivings toward the light and the truth. Give us strength to ride safely through the maelstrom of petty cares and anxieties. May we behold things in their proper proportions and see life in its wholeness and its holiness. May those of us who are well weather the storm of being inconvenienced and being stressed and being afraid in proportion to those who are afflicted by this plague that we are experiencing, and those who are putting themselves at risk every day so that those who are sick can get the proper care and treatment, and those who are not sick do not become. And so part of our prayers are for safety, for recognizing that this is very hard and very isolating and very much full of fear, and to be in proportion with those who are physically sick and those of us who are feeling bored or anxious or worried or lonely, all of which are completely legitimate feelings, but is also important to keep into proportion with the pandemic that we are experiencing, recognizing that many of us have the privilege of clean water and clean food and enough food and a place to keep us warm and dry and protected and enough clothing, and the awareness of keeping this virus as much as we can in check away from us and as much as we can protecting everyone. And so we pray, shelter us, keep us safe. Cantor Howard leads us in Hashkivenu.
Baruch atah Adonai, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Amen. One of the things that helps us is joy, is celebration, is remembering that we are blessed enough to be here, to have made it to this moment in time. One of the traditions we have in my family is that when we light Shabbat candles, and we give each other a hug and a kiss, Shabbat Shalom, we say we made it to another one. We made it. Not because necessarily we felt threatened that we wouldn't, but as an acknowledgement, a gratitude, an awareness, because for some of us, we didn't know if we'd be here. And so here we are. Joy can't be minimized. Joy is one of the things that is really essential. Sometimes it comes in the form of art, or in springtime and seeing flowers, or in listening to the waves on the lake. Joy comes sometimes in laughing, in seeing a silly movie, in having a Zoom cocktail hour with friends, in thinking about ways in which perhaps the Zoom Seder we had actually was a lot of fun. It doesn't minimize the suffering that's in the world, but it's really important that we keep adding joy. That is so much part of what we as Jews remember when we say, Vishamru, let us keep Shabbat. And it's not just about saying, don't do this or don't do that. It's about saying, let us rest and pause and celebrate and be aware of all of the things that we have and all of the places that we are. And so with great ruach and gusto, and I hope that you are singing and you are bouncing along wherever it is that you are, as we sing together, let Israel's descendants keep Shabbat, because here we are, even on Zoom, we are keeping up our traditions, we are keeping up our connections, and here we are all together. Let us keep Shabbat, Lidorotam, for all generations, Brit Olam, as a covenant that is everlasting. Here we are doing our part. Vishamru is on page 85.
ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם לברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם לברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. שמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם לברית עולם.
I am certain that there were many of you jumping around your kitchens right now. Because we have to have joy. Because it is so hard to live in the world without it. And so we make it wherever we can, and connecting together. And if it means jumping up off of your couch when you are alone in your bedroom, do it. Because we can imagine all of your faces and all of you who are jumping up and down right now. And thanks to the beauty of technology, parallel, Cantor, Howard, and I can see all of the hearts and the likes and the smiles jumping up on the screen. And so we are so glad to be able to have this moment of joy together. Part of the joy and the singing together is the way that we hold each other. It's the way that we can create a container that allows the balance for the struggle and the challenge that we are experiencing. And so even though we are joyful, and while we are joyful, we let that joy hold us as we are praying for healing in our own communities and in our worlds. Many of us are spending a lot of time working and thinking in the world of how it is that we take care of one another, how it is that we take care of our beloveds, how it is that we are able to make it through this pandemic. And so we say, Mishaberach avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov ve'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah bilha v'Zilpah. May the one who blessed all of our ancestors bless and bring healing to all of those who are struggling with illness. Some of us are struggling with illnesses related to the coronavirus. We have members of JRC who in fact are living with living through the suffering and hopefully the healing from COVID-19. We pray for those who have other kinds of illnesses that are working to stay as protected and as safe and continue to get as well as they can given this time period. We pray for all of the healers, all of you who are engaged in making our healthcare system work or making our healthcare system better, whether you are on a front line of doing a coronavirus test for a patient as a doctor or a nurse, whether you are performing life-saving procedures, whether you are the one that's preparing food for the staff and the patients at the hospital, whether you are the one who is driving the trucks that has medicine to get from one place to another. We are grateful and we pray for safety for all. In our JRC community, we are praying Refuah Shlema for a complete renewal. For Leah Bat Yonina Umeir, Suzanne Berkson, Steve Clark, Leah Bass, Bonnie Chakravorty, Sarah Cohn, Bryna Citronbaum, Norman Ferber, Beverly Fisher, Don Goldstein, Robert Gotkin, Barbara Harris, Scott Hillman, Laura Holzinger, Lisa Jameson, Gloria Kodlek, Diane Kaiser, Jeffrey Kaiser, Irv Kaplan, Kimberly Sukowski-Klein, Pat Lane, Marcy Lang, Mark Malbone, Sherry Mack, Susan Mogerman, Dave Mork, Karen Ophir, Jackie Ginsburg Panjalinen, Marjorie Present, Jason Schmeg, Barbara Shaw, Lou Sukowski, Edith Trilling, Ida Warren, Sasha Wood, Emily Wood, Mercedes Baker Culp, Ann Schmidt. Please say aloud or write with us in the comments the names of those for whom you are praying for healing. And it's always okay to say your own name. We sing our blessing for healing, a blessing that was written in another time of crisis and pandemic. Debbie Friedman wrote these words to Mishaberach that we know, so many of us by heart, in the height of the AIDS crisis. She wrote it in the 1980s and wrote it because there needed to be a way for the Jewish community to respond to those who were sick, because many, many, many people were dying. And one of the reasons that the words of Mishaberach say, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body and the renewal of spirit, and doesn't say, may all of those who are sick be healed or get better, is because there is a recognition that sometimes those who are ill do not recover. And we have to live with that very painful recovery reality, that there isn't necessarily recovery. And so we pray that healing will come in the form of renewal, in the form of care and love, in the form of those who are taking care of one another, in the form of renewed energy, in the form of a body that is able to respond to treatment. We pray for all who are suffering and all of those who are ill. And we sing these words together, these words to Mishaberach. May the one who blessed us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Baruch atah borei refuah. Blessed are you who creates healing in the world. So I wanted to say just a word about Passover this week, as we are somewhere between having left after the night of passing over and somewhere along the crossing in the wilderness in the journey. And it strikes me that Passover is a holiday known by many names, as all Jewish holidays are known by many names. And one of the names that Passover is known as is Zman Cherutenu, which means the season, the time of our liberation. It's not known as a holiday that is a time of great joy. That's Sukkot. That's the harvest. That's after we've grown everything and everything is beautiful and bountiful and we've picked it and eaten it and saved our fill. Sukkot is Zman Simchatenu, the season of our joy and rejoicing. Passover does not start with the season of joy and rejoicing. Passover starts in fear. Passover starts with us not knowing what will happen to us, but all of a sudden being called in this moment, having experienced plague after plague after plague, and seeing our neighbors affected by some mysterious and evil and destructive forces coming through. Having spent a night in terror, wondering, would we have marked our doors and exposed ourselves, or would we be safe? And then it comes in chaos of everybody grab what you can and not having enough food and baking the matzah because it's what we had, not because we were supposed to make matzah. It was we were supposed to make the cheapest, fastest, poorest bread we could possibly make so that our dough wouldn't spoil, right? How much energy do all of you put into your sourdough starters, right? This is about taking your dough and making sure that you can use it and it doesn't go to waste because it's all you have. It's about fear, and it's about saying we have to go. We have to grab whatever it is that we can. We grab our children, we grab our food, we grab the thing that sustains us. For Miriam, it was her drum and her musical instruments and her song. It was water. It is all of the things from our neighbors that we didn't know we were going to need, but perhaps that's how we retroactively wrote the story or knew the story. But to go and say, this is what we gather and we have to go. It is a holiday of haste. It's a holiday of speed and a holiday of not knowing if we had prepared enough because we didn't have enough time. And it is a holiday that says we're doing all of this because the future, which we cannot and do not know, must be better than where we are right now. It has to be, because we are in a place of fear and a place of oppression. One of the reasons that we are sheltering in place right now is because we have to. We don't know what the future will hold. We don't know when or if our kids will go back to school this year. We don't know when our livelihood will return. We don't know when people who have lost their jobs will be able to go back to work. We don't know when our hospitals will be able to resume treatments. We don't know a lot. But what we do know right now is that we are here in a place of uncertainty. And this is a holiday that is about going from a place of uncertainty into even more uncertainty. But the way that we can do that is with hope. Passover is a holiday that is about saying, right now, it is hard. Right now, there is suffering. Right now, we aren't sure what the other side of the sea looks like. But we are hopeful that we will be able to join together. We say at the end of our Seder, next year in Jerusalem. This year, maybe we said this year on Zoom and next year in person. It means that we're always looking forward. We're always hopeful. We are always trying to think that wherever we go, it is going to be better than the place where we are right now. It's about taking the nostalgia and taking the things that are precious and close to us and bringing them with us and going out because we have to. Michael Walzer wrote this piece that we often read in different times of whether it is struggle, whether it is ways of thinking about suffering. He wrote, "So pharaonic oppression, deliverance, Sinai, and Canaan are still with us, powerful memories shaping our perceptions of the political world. The door of hope is still open. Things are not what they might be, even when what they might be isn't totally different than what they are. We still believe, or many of us do, what the Exodus first taught, or what has been commonly been taken to teach about the meaning and possibility of politics, about the proper forms and the way to be. First, wherever you live, it is probably Egypt. Second, there is a better place, a world more attractive, a promised land. And third, that the way to the land is through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by joining together and marching." So we are joining together through a wilderness. We are creating this new time and this time of possibility and this time of creativity. One of the things that we never knew was all of the different well springs of creativity that were within us that we could do to connect with one another. So this Passover, this Shabbat, let it be a time in which we discover something new, something we didn't think that we could do before, and now we have the possibility to do. Let us discover healing. Let us discover a new connection. Let us discover safety and shelter. Let us discover new recipes that are made up out of the ingredients that we already have on our shelves so that nobody has to risk either working or restocking the shelves. Let us recognize the amazing privileges that we have in this part of freedom and this part of the wilderness. And let us reach out to each other when we are scared and we need one another. Nobody crossed the Red Sea alone. It was a group effort. And so this is the group. We're walking through the sea. We're getting muddy and sandy and we're complaining and we're tired. But hopefully we're also singing and we're also moving our way along. And so as we move on our journey toward Revelation, toward Shavuot, toward April 30th or beyond, or whenever it is that we are able to move out of this space of shelter, let us remember that we're the people of hope and that this is the time of hope and this is the time of liberation, and that liberation isn't easy. It isn't painless. It isn't simple, but it is something that we will achieve much more sweetly when we do it together. So thank you for connecting, for being here together. We're going to close our Kabbalat Shabbat this evening with Kaddish to have an opportunity to say our mourner's prayer, which is on page 131 if you have the Siddur with you, wherever it is that you are. And then we are going to close with, we'll have Cantor Howard sharing with us perhaps a tune from Hallel or something for this season. I want to invite everyone on Sunday evening at 6 p.m. I posted in the members group. Sunday morning at 6 p.m., Reconstructing Judaism is hosting Reconstructionists Sing. It is a Zoom of lots and lots of Reconstructionist rabbis and clergy joining together with folks, and anyone is able to join in. So if you look at the message on the Members of JRC Facebook page, you can click there to register and get the Zoom link. Sunday at 6 p.m. We're all able to sing and to join in together. And you can see hopefully some familiar faces from across our movement as well. We hope also that you are connecting to Reconstructing Judaism, that you are connecting to our communities that are across the country, as many of them are live streaming. And it's a really wonderful way for us to gather together and to connect and see what other colleagues and other communities are doing. It's not cheating if you go to somebody else's Facebook Live Shabbat service or if you Zoom into somebody else's program. It's really a blessing to be able to see one another. So we see all of you who are in mourning and all of you who are remembering a yahrzeit. And so we say together these words of Mourner's Kaddish in memory. We remember Mary Ehrlich, grandmother of Lisa Ehrlich Menard. Sheldon Engelhart, father of Karen Engelhart. Marjorie Midge Epstein, mother of Joe Epstein. Shayna Erickson, daughter of Judy Solomon and Dan Solomon. Barbara Feldman, mother of Amy Feldman. Irina Geinsman, friend of Lori Lippitz. Jonathan Harper, husband of Helga Lowe Harper. Albert Harris, father of Emily Harris and grandfather of Abby Harris Ridker. Gloria Hirsch, mother of Carol Hirsch Bleckman. Heidi Katz, sister of Rich Katz. Belle Krantz, mother of Susan Lazar. Leslie Lee, mother of Tina Escobar and grandmother of Maya Escobar. Karen Leff, cousin of Heidi Levin. Josh Locker, friend of Barbara Pinzer. Claire Metzger, aunt of Betsy Fuchs. Gussie Michaels Lorange, mother of Beryl Michaels. Ruth Binney Mindlin, grandmother of Liz Plachette. Joseph Minsky, father of Larry Minsky. Nathaniel Jerome Raskin, husband of Nina Raskin. Doris Patinkin Rubin, stepmother of Neil Rubin and Alan Rubin. Arthur Buddy Strelke, father of Rick Strelke and grandfather of Jack Strelke. Marsha Weiner, mother-in-law of Wendy Weiner. Kurt Wellish, father of Fred Wellish. Louise Winslow, grandmother of Rachel Seidman. Samuel Yates, grandfather of Alicia Vincent. And Bernice Zolotto, mother of Suzanne Cohn. I invite you in the comments to share the names of those for whom you are saying Kaddish this evening as we remember them. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'gala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yitabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru. Amen. May their memories be blessings. We also, in this moment, before we sing Oseh Shalom, are virtually putting our arms around one another and holding our JRC members, Jonathan Goldman on the death of his father, Sandy Spatz on the death of her mother this week, Susan Behrman on the death of her father this week, Carol Braverman on the death of her mother this week. We also, Susan Stone on the death of her cousin this week. And we note with sadness the death of Maury Loeb, a recent JRC member who died this past week, and the funeral will be on Monday. I invite you to share the names of those whom you are remembering, and we sing Oseh Shalom together. Oseh Shalom.
Shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom, shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru amen.
Zichronam livracha, may their memories be blessings. And so we hope that we will join again together tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for Minyan, and you can be in touch with Jonathan Markowitz and Ruth Wenger for the Zoom link for our JRC member-led Minyan. We hope to also see you for Reconstructionists Sing, as we sing joyous words of Hallel on Sunday evening at 6 p.m. See the members of JRC Facebook page for that link. And a week from tonight, on Friday, April 17th, our Zoom Kabbalat Shabbat will be led by Aviva Feldman and Julia Wellish and Ben, whose last name I don't know, but we'll all be leading together from their apartment on Facebook Live right here. And so we look forward to celebrating and continuing to stay connected. Check us out every morning, Sunday through Friday mornings on our Facebook page for a message from the clergy. We'll also see anyone who would like to join us next Wednesday at 5 p.m., Wednesday the 15th for Yisker. And that will be via Zoom so we can see one another's faces, and you can check the announcements for that link. Cantor Howard will close our service tonight. Shabbat Shalom.
We'll sing Min HaMetzar. As Rabbi was saying before, from the narrow place I cried out to God, and God answered me, bringing great release. Page 373 in the Siddur. Min HaMetzar Karatia Anani Ba'merkavya 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 Min HaMetzar Karatia Anani Ba'merkavya.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.